I'm having technical issues. Can you hear me? Hello, everybody. What's going on here then? Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, Baz.
Yeah, I've got you now.
Hey! Now, there we go.
Right, so
There we go. Right, so yeah, basically that is, if you've not been on our podcast before, that is about as professional as it gets. so from here on in, that is literally as professional as it gets.
Anyway, congratulations, Mike.
Cheers, buddy. I might put some headphones in so there's no. The other headphones didn't work, but I'm going to go with these ones. Can you hear? Is there an echo?
I can't hear an echo, no.
Oh,
Anybody else hear an echo?
I'll leave them off then. So, mate. So, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lock-In Podcast. This is a very, very special edition. We haven't done a live podcast for a good amount of time.
Well, you can see why.
Yeah, exactly. Because we can edit this shit out on the audio podcast and the recorded one. So, yes, my name's Mike and this is Baz, and we regularly meet up on a weekly basis and have a few drinks in our virtual pub. I'm not normally here. I am.
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in Bury. It's a town called Bury, just north of Manchester.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I'm at my brother's house, which is good because we're all meeting up tomorrow night, which is brilliant timing.
Yeah.
Myself, Baz, and the third wheel of social mediocrity, Joshua, are meeting up in London because it's Joshua's 30th birthday tomorrow. 30. So we're all out on the piss in London. Woohoo! So anyway, speaking of the devil, should we get him on?
Yes, please do.
We do have an extra special guest to come on later, and I will reveal that to everybody when the time is right. But for the time being, J3.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey. I made it just in time.
Right, so I've got two words just before we go any further. Now we're all three here. Hole driller. What the fuck was that all about?
Yeah, what was that? What was that whole? I don't even remember that whole drill thing.
Hole driller. It's called a drill, Baz. Everybody knows it as a drill. It wasn't even a complicated piece of equipment that you got the name of wrong.
Oh, just what an idiot.
Hey, it was good. So, guys, so for everyone watching, what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick chat, a bit of post-match analysis of the show that we've all just been on. And we'll take your questions after that, but we're just going to have a quick chat first, and then we're going to bring on our special guest. So boys, what was your thoughts? How did you were you happy with how it looked on the telly box?
I think it looked great. I think it looked so great. I mean, in fact, even looking back, I think it was kind of like, I feel really impressed how well how beautiful it looked on screen, how colourful it was. You know, I think we did really well in general. Like, I forgot it happened.
They did a really good job with it because it's really complicated. Obviously, with loads of stuff going on everywhere to film it, to make it look good, and I think it looked good, and I think three devilishly handsome men on it helped
with beards.
That's well, no, I was talking about me, Hammond and Zach, but
right.
Wow. Where's that bus you just thrown us under?
But no, I was really impressed with it. I think I think they edited it really well, and I think we looked all right. We didn't look as hapless as I thought we might have done.
No one knows how much of an idiot I am. No one actually knows yet, do they? Only you two know.
I thought the handle was spat well because that was comedy gold.
They did well. Yeah.
Do you know what? They framed that little tiff we had at the start really, really well, because that's the reason it happened, because we'd never met before. We didn't really know each other at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was underplay. It was put front and center enough to make it entertaining, but not enough to make it awkward. Do you know what I mean? I think it was I don't know if you noticed the my time gag, but I don't even remember saying that.
Oh, do you know?
Yeah, that one.
No, I said, but like, you dropped one of the spices and said, oh my God, but Baz, which spice don't you want? Is he going, oh, what don't you want, Baz? And he was like, time. It's of the essence.
I thought it was genius.
Don't even remember saying it, but there you
and
go.
Also, and I'm really pleased that Captain you nearly drowning.
Yeah, I'm really glad that was in. I was worried they were going to think, well, that's unhealthy. They can't show people doing that.
You know what, they definitely dialed down the drama of that. It was much more dramatic in real life. I was nervous at one point that I wouldn't make it through, but we're still here. Yeah,
you can't see it behind the camera. I was running in circles, trying to I'd not do anything. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just running in circles, but so at least I didn't look like as crazy as it really was. It was mad, that toilet thing.
But no, it's mad watching on telly though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm crazy.
It's
pretty cool.
Seeing the whole thing, and but I think it's good. I think they captured us all, captured our personalities well, and didn't overdo anything. And I think it worked well. And obviously, we built a brilliant machine. I'd forgotten how good it was. It's that long ago. Because for those watching and listening, because we are going to put this out as an audio podcast. For those people who are watching and listening, God, I've gone really blurred. You won't see that on the you won't see that on the audio podcast, but whatever. It's actually better. I look prettier when I'm that blurred. But yeah, I completely forgot what I was saying now because I can't even see my own face. Right,
I think we're always going to find. I think we're always going to find facts that we wish we could show more of, like the hat stand, Baz. We were so insanely proud of that hat stand.
Oh mate, yeah, definitely.
Although it gets seen, I'm glad the hand got its camp moment, but I never got to say the word slam dunk properly, which is how we always kind of viewed it.
No.
It's sad that they didn't pick up on little things that we always kind of thought of as within there, or even when you threw that chair, Mike. The camera wasn't far enough away to see how dramatic it really was.
I know it was. I put all my dramatic effort into that. Let's do my head in this.
Yeah, sort it out because we need to see. There you go.
It's not even. It's auto focus. Whatever. It's fine. I'll just sit back here like this. It's all right. It's like I say. I'm better looking blurred as much as that, so we'll go with it. So yeah, if you do have any questions or comments, keep your comments coming through in the chat section. We will talk through them in a bit. Hold white paper. There's somebody.
Thank you, Free Rider. Oh, sorry, Free Rider.
Magic.
I think it might be because my background's a bit. Whatever. To be fair, I have I've only brought hand luggage all the way from Donegal to deepest, darkest Lancashire, and you're lucky I'm not filming this on a potato, but it does actually look like I am. So there you go. So yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick chat. We're going to bring our guest on very shortly. Very excited to have somebody who was very close to the whole process. Who we could do a bit of post-match analysis with. Also, talking about the audio podcast and the YouTube podcast,
Thanks,
we have got coming up on Wednesday next week. We pre-recorded a podcast with the three girls from what was their team name? Civilized. Good God. Yes. So Virtue, Cheyenne, and Esther from Civilized. So we've already got a podcast recorded with them, and we're going to broadcast that next week. So
they looked beautiful. They came alive. They looked beautiful.
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was good that we were on it, but I think they came across really well, really entertaining, really bubbly, really nice, and which is exactly how they are. They were that's who they are and how they were. It was really, really nice. So yeah, we'll go to the comments in a sec, but I want to bring on our special guest. So you may have noticed that Richard Hammond's Crazy Contraptions is fronted by a very small man from England called Richard Hammond. Well, we've got a special guest who's better than that because he's not a very small man from England. He's a very big man from America. Let's bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, of the show, Mr. Zach Umperovich. How are you, sir?
How are you guys? Congratulations.
Right, hold on.
Thank you very much. It feels like it feels like being allowed to speak openly, not just about the show, but about how we did on the show.
That is true. I can't wait to say
so
it.
Good.
It feels wonderful being able to post the things. 2, look at my hair. The whole episode, I was going like this. I knew what was going to happen. I've seen the episode a dozen times. I'm still going like, come on.
Right,
Testing. So
I've got a question, Zach.
Yeah.
What's there's something missing from behind you? Where are you? This is not the usual.
It is not. I'm at my mom's apartment. I'm actually helping fix some things. So
Right.
if you don't recall, it's 4:00 where I'm at.
Oh
yes.
So, yeah, you know that little American thing.
That's it. You're in the past.
Yes. But no, guys, congratulations. That was a fantastic episode. Honestly, I think better than the first one. And having watched them, they just keep upping the ante. And like you guys were mentioning, just the colors, the vibrance, the editing. You guys will know this. Obviously, the director, Graham, he was the one who edited it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. I don't know if you got a chance to talk with him,
great.
but that really helps when it's not some guy sitting in a room looking at. We had 7 cameras going at any given point. You guys were familiar with them, but there's the little hidden ones all over the place that we didn't tell you about. But yeah, when you're watching 7 cameras record things for 10 hours a day and trying to not scrap together, we had too much material. I think they told the story perfectly.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
It was really, really good. I was really pleased with it. Like I say, it made good telly, which is it's what I said at the start. We would. I promised you, and we delivered.
Yeah. You guys certainly delivered. I'm so flabbergasted by the fact that both machines worked every single day, and then you got perfect runs. It was. I literally promised our executive Dom that. Look, no machine's going to work perfectly, probably this entire series. You're just going to have to bear with it, and just maybe we'll get one closer at the end. And you are our RX3, so you were the 3rd episode we recorded, and
we ruined the whole thing.
We did it. We smashed it out.
You set the bar so flipping high. You and Team Civilized, and then it was just like from that point on, we were like, man, this is possible.
Oh, so here's the weird thing. That this is the first time that we've collectively seen their machine run all the way through.
Yeah, we'd never seen it for the entirety because where we stood for the filming of the process. So that was us really experiencing it properly for the first time. It's amazing.
That's true. Yeah, you didn't get the chance to wander over there because they tested their machine for quite a while. You guys were just building.
I was busy. Yeah. Did you see how much in that episode I was holding that ball in the second part? In the second room, every shot of me, I'm holding that ball, or just rolling it in my hands. Like, my God,
they even showed you
stand on with a ball.
They showed you day one with the drill in your hand, putting in the pulley, and I was just like, yes, Josh has learned something because this was a contestant that came to us saying, "I've never worked with power tools, and you're going to build a chain reaction machine? How?"
Guess.
For folks that don't know, I was involved from literally the creation of this show all the way through casting, through, yes, they say Hammond built the workshops. No, everything of that came down to me. And, when Josh wanders on the set and I have to give the safety briefing on how to use a drill, it's like, does anyone know how to use a drill? And there goes Josh.
Like, I knew there was a button on it. I just didn't know there were like 2.
But no,
Right at the start of the first day, Joshua was walking around putting screwdriver bits in the screwdriver and trying to drill with that. That's the That's how basic Joshua's power tool knowledge was. But by the end of the 3 days, Joshua was bodging shit together like the best of us.
Well, and also, in fairness, we had that drill that was dodgy that kept unscrewing itself.
Dodgy impact driver.
Well, that's right.
Mate,
which was wild because those are all brand new tools. And you know what? I don't ever remember the resolution on what happened.
They changed it.
You said we got a new one.
We changed it on day 3, though.
I figured, you could have used that for your motor that I failed to give you.
Yes.
Back behind the scenes challenges. It's hard
Sorry.
editing.
I'm glad that final bit was edited because let's be fair, I lost my shit about that in the end because we spent so many hours trying to overcome a problem that Zach created by not supplying the motor that we asked for.
Sorry, I didn't get everything on your wish list.
Oh, you could have left fly swats off and give us. It was a fly swat that turned on the kettle in the end. Anyway,
Yeah.
so right, let's say hello to people now.
Perfect.
So let's have a look. Rosie says smashed it. Thanks, Rosie. Rosie sent me a message during the show. Lacey's on. Someone called Emma, who looks like my wife, is on.
Hello, Emma.
Matt Ricketts, Rosie again, and we just look. Loads of people, really good feedback. Has your phone's been buzzing a lot since the show and throughout the show?
Yeah.
I've been getting messages from everybody saying like, "Oh, this is really all the way through it. This is really tense. I don't know. You've done really well, but I hope it works in the end and stuff." And like Zach said, we were involved in the process. We know how the thing finished, and not breaking any confidentiality rules. Everyone in the room I was in watching it knew because I came back here a second time.
Yeah.
I stayed here for a second time on my way down to filming, so they knew that I'd got through.
It must have been nice to not know. I think it would have been even better, way better to watch it and not know.
Yeah,
so
I didn't tell any of my friends or anything like that. It's just to keep it like that, So yeah, what we got? We've got Ali B says it was genius. Well done all. Rob Appleton says it liked how we winged it. Lacey says you nearly drowning. Baz breaking an egg, which I didn't even know about.
I forgot about it. Yeah, forgot.
Yeah, because you broke the egg just as I was losing my shit. So if you'd have come to me saying you'd broken an egg, it wouldn't have gone down well.
I had no idea about the whole toilet incident. I wasn't there for whatever reason. Was that?
Oh, really?
I had no idea. I was watching it like, what the fuck did this happen?
Yeah.
It just...
Let's talk about the toilet incident. So we asked for a toilet with a proper old school high cistern chain for dramatic effect. And when the engineers put it in place, and they literally just dropped it in about half an hour before filming started. So we were like, right, what do we do? So of course, partway through, we start to fill the cistern. And they hadn't plumbed it in right. There's water starts gushing down the thing. We got loads of towels around it, and we were panicking. And we're like, what do we do? So then I go and find some hose pipe. I think, well, we'll siphon the water out of it, we'll seal it, make it right, and then put the water back in.
Weird how the guy from Manchester in the area knew how to siphon so well.
Yeah. But I tell you what,
toilet took...
I'm glad I didn't inhale diesel. And it was only water. And it was like, and I was like, I remember that because I remember as soon as I started like coughing like properly, you didn't see in that how much I was literally like choking on this water, and then and then the camera comes in about this close to my face. I'm like, yeah, thanks for that.
I regret to inform you that toilet I think came all the way from Essex. So
that's what been used.
Well, I survived anyway. On days 2 and 3, I didn't feel too clever, but maybe that's why.
So we have a bit of a theory. I mean, we might be wrong, but we think it might have been a bit of a setup because if you remember, just before we were filming it, the producers and director Graham came down and said, "Well, we haven't seen any water in there. Don't you think it's about time we saw some water?" So quickly put the shoot on. Then when we filmed it, that's when the disaster happened, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, you can feel the cameras closing on a specific moment.
So just as I'm choking, just as I'm choking, having siphoned the water out, I turn round to go, where are the guys from engineering that put that toilet in? And I turn round, and all three of them are stood like this, watching this happen. I was like, okay. So I don't mind being the butt of the joke for good TV.
As the engineering producer, that was not planned on at least my part, or no one has ever said a word about that to me. So
someone went rogue, Zach. Someone went rogue because that definitely was planned.
Oh, no, totally. It was Al. Imagine little Al doing that.
I should imagine they were like, "Oh, look at these cocky fuckers. Let's put them back in their place."
Oh, Matt Ricketts said, "Thought we all came across really well. Thank you."
Oh.
And also says, "Did Hammond annoy you interrupting?" Yes, absolutely.
Everybody did.
Not from a personality point of view. He's a really look. We've said this before on the podcast that we did with Zach that we posted last week. Hammond is golden, absolutely golden.
What you see is what you get.
Really nice guy, really down to earth, no airs and graces. Got involved, was really invested in it, really cared about us and cared about the machines and stuff. He was absolutely phenomenal. What did really annoy us is every time Hammond needed to speak, they had to shut off all the power tools when we were trying to work in the background. You have to say no power tools because Hammond's speaking, or Hammond or Zach, you're not getting off lightly. It was partly your fault, pal.
It was mostly my fault because I'm the one that had to do multiple takes. Or when you're doing my master class, you're seeing a minute of it, and we recorded that for 20 minutes. Hammond can do his lines in one take.
Yeah, he can.
Me, I'm not that talented. So
yeah, he's much more professional than you are. Yeah. So yeah, let's say it was definitely your fault that we were stood around with power tools in hand, looking at our watch, going, you said we had 10 hours for this. Fucking not 10 hours, is it? I've been stood here for 20 minutes waiting for you to finish that line.
What was funny is that the one thing that we were most concerned of was Josh using that chop saw. And once you learn how to use it, you could not get him off it. He just cut everything.
I did love it. The power went to my head a bit, yeah.
Nick
At the end, you started off, it was only massive bits of wood we were cutting on the big chop saw like that. And then in the end, it was like, little bits of dowel, like, bip, 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 bip.
Yeah.
Pure danger. There were so many things that I was doing because as came across in that, I just bodge things together and do all that kind of stuff. And there were so many things that I'd be doing something and the camera would come up and I'd be go, you might want to disappear without it. You might want to go away. This is sketchy as fuck and it won't be allowed on TV. So
I don't know if you knew this, Josh. We literally dedicated one of the engineering team to just spy on you the entire time.
I knew that I was doing some dangerous things too, yeah.
Yeah. One of them, Nick, he was literally just always across the room watching you. So
I thought he was really into me, to be honest. Yeah, this guy always around me. But and the one time I tried to cut something with a completely wrong saw, and a hand just went no.
Rosie said they seem lovely. That's when we were talking about Virtue Cheyenne and Esther.
Oh yeah,
and they were exactly. And this is another thing that I was saying about the way they've edited it is. Their personality really came through, and they were brilliant. I mean, we all went out for a drink at the end after what you've just seen. So after the show where it's like, yeah, you've won, you're through to the next round and so on. We all went out for a drink afterwards, and they are lovely. They are lovely, exactly as you've. And I'm glad that their personality came through because I found myself smiling and laughing at the things they were doing. That bit where they have a successful run. And Virtue pretty much throws one of these girls right, just like that. And for those that don't know, Virtue's well into her weightlifting, so she could and probably did throw her mate clean across the entire warehouse.
Yeah, that was shame.
It was shame, wasn't it? It was like,
there's got to be footage of it somewhere. And
from further out.
Because I was standing there, I watched her just go flying. I was like, what? I thought she passed out from my angle. I don't think they show a reaction of me because I'm looking over there going, oh, what happened? But
what I enjoyed a lot was seeing the stress of us from a different point of view. I saw you guys stressed, and I couldn't see myself physically stressing out how badly. And then in that video, obviously in the show, you see how at the end of it, I literally take a seat on that thing in the middle of the.
Yeah.
I just sit down and I'm like that. I was like, oh, that's what I look like when I'm really stressed. I've never seen myself look like that. I was like, yeah, there we go. It's amazing how much. I was just had my arms crossed before it was going. Mike said to me, I just look angry, like I look furious. I think I was just kind of going through some heavy drama at that point. It was really tense.
You always got a little flushed in the face when you were getting really bothered by something, or you're just
probably that is
all the time you were running back and forth. But
I was working out and hungover.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
there
there
was
is that.
one moment I was
Baz,
like,
Baz, do you want to Baz, do you want to talk through why at some stages the bags under our eyes were massive? Do you want to talk through why?
No, here's the excuse.
So yeah, well, basically, what it was, what you obviously hear, like you've got 3 days to do it, you've got 10 hours to build, and all that kind of stuff. But we were picked up from the hotel about 7:30 in the morning, and we were dropped back at the hotel about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. We'd grab whatever food we could, and then we'd all head to either Baz's or Joshua's room, and yeah, just have a skinful of rum and coke, which was good at the time because it helped relax us after the adrenaline of the day and helped us to sleep. But
and we did plan, we did concoct
mornings
plans
anyway. So,
but you didn't share with me.
Do mornings anyway, so you can imagine Joshua trying to do mornings with a head full of Baz measures.
Yeah, he can do it. I can't.
Oh, what was funny was in the mornings when we get the car in, like Josh would get in, put his jacket around his ears, and then just go to sleep.
Yeah, which didn't help on the second show when the trip went from 25 minutes to 5 minutes. I was like, no. What do you mean we're closer to the set? No, I need to sleep.
I forgot about you guys being in the farther hotel. That's right.
Yes, it was.
That was a welcome change for the semis.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was.
So there was a few things that I didn't remember had happened, and I obviously don't remember when we were holding the towel rail up that actually came off and you caught it.
I don't remember it either. That's why it's like it's a different version. I don't remember that specific moment at all, which is crazy. Just so much going on.
It was done very well when they said, like, they don't need a big A-frame. It doesn't, because it's quite solid without it. And then you go like, the whole thing's wrong.
Yeah, that is a good point.
It's only because I was holding it up and walked off, thought you had hold of it.
I didn't even know.
I think that's what happened.
That sounds like something that could happen. Yeah, absolutely. But that first room, you said that we just botched things together, but actually, really, the first room was the only one that we very much didn't. And you might see that going forward a little bit too. But that's because Baz really meticulously planned it and rescaled it. And you even said, Zach, during the show, that's one of your favourite rooms ever.
Yeah, but I've changed my tax since then. Don't worry about that.
Well, that's true, but that was a masterpiece.
We have got a question in the chat section about that. Rob Appleton said, why did Baz's blueprints disappear after day one?
I know. In fairness, it still resembled the blueprints. We just had different things and stuff were mounted on. And, yeah, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a little behind the scenes there is the teams get the task. Everybody got them exactly 3 weeks in advance. From that point, they were able to give me a shopping list, things that I could, add into the workshop amongst all the other bits. But you really just, until you stepped on set, you didn't really understand the scale. And yeah, just there's an immense amount of planning that just gets immediately thrown out the window when you arrive on set, and the panic sets in. So yeah, I had to look through all of those blueprints. Every room had some idea. Every team had some idea of what they wanted to do. And
is that going to be golf balls, Mike? Was it going to be golf balls in the third room? Was that next?
Yeah,
as in like bing, bing, bing. We cancelled it like that.
Yeah, you had the
that's right. We were going to do that. That's great. We were going to do golf balls off pans. We were going to set pans about and have golf balls ping, ping, ping on that, and then that was one of those things that we planned, and then pretty shortly afterwards, we're just like, this is not as.
We gave it a 15-minute start in the morning. Give it a go.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
We were just so proud of those nets because those nets look great. And I'm so glad that, because obviously, Zach, you say in the show that it's one of your favorite tricks, but you haven't used one of those nets before. And I love that Richard calls them Josh's nets. So I can't wait for you to see those nets appear in your next work specifically, really, Zach.
I mean, how dare you?
I'm also hoping if anybody does collapsing shelves again, they continue to be referred as Mike shelves.
Yes.
I want it to be like, I want that to be like my legacy.
Mike
if we do season 2, then yeah, the very standout steps that you guys came up with, I think I can make reference to that because nice little homage.
Also, I take umbrage with the narrative which said Josh is helping Baz on the bookcase. Actually, it was completely the opposite way around because I was helping you, wasn't I?
Yeah, it did start like that. Yeah, but there's a point where we were working about the same level, and then there's a point where you went, "Well, I'll just whack that there then," and then walked away. So yeah, it was originally, but yes, I think it's because I had the nets.
We've got here's a chance for you to show off, Zach. We've got somebody who says, "What does Vic?" I think they mean Zach.
Yeah.
What do you think of the OK Go videos that have chain reactions? So what do you think of those, Zach?
Well, considering I helped design them, I kind of like them. So I'm not.
You're welcome, Zach.
Yeah, thank you for the nice little shout out there. No, I absolutely love them because I was a part of design. I'm a part of Sin Labs who helped design both the OK Go, the Hearthstone, ESPN, Red Bull, Target, just all of those. Whether I was involved in the design of them or the physical build of them, I'm not just the world leading authority. That's not just a TV title. I really am. I've been doing this since I was 3 years old, and everything about my life revolves around chain reaction Rube Goldberg machines. And even this whole show came about by some guy ringing me on the phone, having watched my YouTube channel, and saying, "We want to make a show about what you do for a living." And 2 years later, here I am chatting with you guys. So.
There you go. Well, what is your opinion of the one on YouTube that gets referenced at the start as an example of a Rube Goldberg machine? The one that goes through the guy's garden. That
one is one of my top favorites. That's one that I built and designed and was the actual director on. That was Hearthstone Blizzard, and that's my fire and ice machine, and that's my baby. I love it so much.
No, I meant the one, the one in someone's back garden.
Oh, that one.
The one that said, here's an example, or when they talk about virality.
Oh, yeah.
They show that one.
I like that one. It's a good example of really just everyday objects using your everyday space, because the fact that he's using the roof, he's using the trellis, he's using all of those different elements. I think it was a really good one to pick. I didn't pick that one. That's not mine, but
I like the thing I like about that is there was a lot. What I like is I like a lot of stuff where if it knocks something over and then it comes back or it goes back again using the same thing. I think they're quite impressive whenever that does.
Yeah. See, I liked it. I think from my angle, just having done this so long, I love the fact that they used a drone in order to film it. So it was actually a lot smoother. They can get those height changes, elevations. They can do things, capture things that I normally can't do. So the first time I saw it, I actually made a little note of let's incorporate that into one of our machines. Just figure out how to do those. But
actually, while we're on the subject, let's talk about the fire and ice one, because I've watched that a few times since, and I like the fact those burning bouncing balls actually set fire to the trampolines.
That was very much on purpose. So I have a video online on YouTube about just me testing the different materials, because I wanted something that would it was actually a big dog ball that I filled with sand, and it needed to be something that could catch on fire but not be too hot that it burns on the trampolines as it goes along. But we wanted the trampolines to catch on fire. I was like, this is a tall order from our client. And so we actually was able to get a hold of, it's called Back to the Future Jelly. There's a more technical name to it, but you remember those movies and how those tires are on fire?
Yeah.
It's actually this gel that burns at only 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And it gives it that illusion. So before each run, we kind of smear a little bit on it, because 1 ounce was like $2,000. It was a lot, but we would smear it just in the place that we knew it would catch fire. And so as it would go, it catch those trampolines on fire. The ball was soaked in ethanol, and that's what kept it aflame as it goes through. There's no special effects in that machine at all.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. A lot of planning.
Rob Appleton asks, that's the question of you, Zach, but I can answer the question. Is that how did you come across Mike, Baz, and Joshua for the show? Well, or Joshua, do you want to tell the folks at home how we ended up together as a team on the show?
Well, I was sort of lucky enough to be asked, "Do you want to do this thing?" Because I'm a bit crazy, and they think that I didn't really realize how DIY this show was at the point. And I was like, going to get my family, like my sister or my brother-in-law, or something to kind of just help sort this out for me. And then I kind of panicked, because I thought, I think they're going to let me on this show but I don't think I'm going to be able to handle this at all. So I realized, hang on a minute, I've just met these two mad people online during lockdown. I've only ever spoken to them on TikTok doing quizzes and all sorts of things. And then I text them both being like, are you good with tools or have any idea what's going on? And both of it. Go
on, you go.
Oh, so what was great is from Mike. I had a tentative. Well, I do have a degree in engineering, but I'm awful. And then I got from Baz being like, well, I basically work with tools, but I don't know what I'm doing. That's absolutely not true. Both of them knew what they were doing, of course. And the moment I got that reply, I was like, let's do this. And I felt it happen. I knew it was going to happen for us. So we ended up in an Airbnb.
And you listed every one of those things like you just said. It's just like engineering, but I don't use it. Tools, but I know what I'm doing. I don't know any tools. We were like, yes, this is going to be fantastic.
This can work.
Perfect team.
So I've got to be honest, when I got that message, I thought Josh was going to say, can you nip around my house and put some shelves up for me, please? Never did I think that we'd end up on a TV show.
I think Joshua's just been a bit polite there, because young Joshua here got a call from his agent saying, we've had this company, this TV company want you to get involved in this thing. And then he realized, there's it's going to take some dad building and some acquired skills. And he thought, who are the oldest two people I know? And that's how me and Baz got involved.
It's the only way I can look young. This is it.
So yeah, speaking of that, Joshua, we might as well say it again, but it's your birthday tomorrow. And how good is this? Because as everybody knows, I'm usually in Donegal, but tonight I was able to watch it with my mum, my brother, both my brothers, my sister-in-law, my nephews. So I was able to watch it with those guys. And tomorrow, I'm bringing my eldest daughter down to London town to see Joshua, because it's Joshua's birthday. Well, I don't know when your birthday is, but it's your birthday party tomorrow.
It is tomorrow, yeah.
It is it. So Joshua's
so in a few hours.
Joshua's 30th birthday tomorrow. So me, Baz, and Joshua will be out in London. So if you're in London, you see three people who look like those idiots that were on the TV the night before, then it is them. Us.
Well, you sent me a message earlier, because quite often when we do the podcast, myself and Mike wear the same clothes accidentally. So Mike he told me what I was wearing so we avoid a clash. I'm wearing a blue boiler suit. I'll just let you know now.
Fantastic.
If they might seize you out, buy them a pint on me, because next time I come to London, I've got to definitely stop by and see you. And
next time you're here, then give us a shout and we'll make sure we do have a drink. Because I mean, if and when, let's hope there is a second series. There's we're definitely I'm gonna be lobbying in Parliament to get some kind of best of the best, or I've said this before on the podcast that the once you start getting it syndicated, and once Brazil do a version, you need a British team to come over, and that's us. There you go.
Perfect.
Absolutely, that's us.
What I quite liked about this week was the amount of posts that the three of us have put on our social media. It's been ridiculous.
We have been on social media. We've done a job for the TV company there on the social media this week, boys.
Oh, also, let's give a shout out for Zach's new social media. So you're the so what are you? You're the.
I don't actually know. What did I make it?
You're Zach Umperovich on Instagram, so go and follow that.
Oh, and
I only just found it on TikTok.
Yes, and then you're a chain reactions expert on TikTok.
Yes.
Oh, and Zach, I just messaged you on TikTok.
Is that because the username Zach Umperovich on TikTok was already taken by someone?
Someone had already taken Zach Ump, and there was another one that I wanted, and just like, screw it, let's just go with that. I don't know why I used the hyphen at the time, but
thanks, Mark.
Or the underscore, whatever it was.
Yeah, Mark Smith says we were all brilliant. Mark's my mate. We met on a holiday in Lanzarote, Tenerife, one of them anyway.
Holiday friends.
He's a legend. Mark's one of those idiots who does like 50-mile runs in the complete darkness up hills.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Mark. We're never going to be friends.
Yeah, he's not like us.
Can I just say at this point as well that some people might know, but they probably won't, is when we first started this process and we started having Zoom calls with Zach, he basically taught us a lot of the basic steps about about how to build one of these machines, and obviously posted links to the other stuff we had to see. But it was a really good process, because when we were actually building, there was quite a few times that we were using processes that you sort of showed us and told us about. And the amount of times we do a transition and we kind of go, oh yeah, I remember this.
I'm glad it paid off, truly, because, you know, all that's great information just moving on to season 2, because, you know, things that we need to adjust is, you know, how early do we let the teams know what the task is? Because there was always the chance that we weren't going to let you guys know until, you know, you did that whole bit about reading the letter. That was going to be one of the things of people are going to show up on set and truly have to figure it out. Even an earlier idea for the first episode, and it wasn't changed until 2 days prior, there was going to be nothing on set. It was just going to be the backdrop screen, and then the furniture we were going to fit into the workshops. And the second that I got there and I looked at it, it's like, I've got enough room for tools and props and stuff. Like, I can't fit your furniture in there. And that's when everything moved in and we started set decorating. So you're going to see certain episodes where, you know, the set is slightly dressed. There's a few things. Like first episode, there's some stuff in the rooms. In the next episode coming up, you're going to see the rooms and they're just tricked out, because that was a change we made on the spot. And any of the suggestions, like,
I think you'll need to give people the task in advance, though, really, because like I think we'd be able to do it, but what you would lose is those showstoppers that along the way. And there is a banging one coming up in the next episode that required a little bit from Mike, especially of at least pre-thought, let alone some work on it. But so you'll lose some of those elements, I think, if you take away that personally.
And it definitely was one of those battles that I had, because you know, there was original talks the show was going to run for 5 days. You were going to be able to build it for 5 days. Then that got cut down to 4 days. And then they came to me and said, is it possible to do this in 2? And I was like, no. And it's like, you'll lose me if you bring it down to 2, because I know, imagine doing exactly what you did in 2 days. Yeah.
Well, not doable. It would have not been anywhere as good, anywhere near.
It just made more sense, a day per room, and then when also shortening the program by, it was originally going to be, okay, room 1, then the next day room 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, and 3, instead of just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and that helped the length of the program.
I still think there should have been 4. I think that it should be 4, and I think that you should go, okay, your machine's pretty much done. Now go change this, whack this in, whack that in, maybe, or so that it gives us the illusion of an extra day. Because I also think the step count would really kind of lift in that when you could add intricacies in places where you realize, oh, there's a weakness there. I think it could have 4 days, and the quality of the show would be improved by having more intricacy, basically. Even though I know there is a lot there anyway.
I think with it, so for people that don't know, they showed up on a Monday. The real film days were Tuesday through Thursday. Monday morning is kind of where we give them the engineering briefing, the walk around the set. They get to see what materials they have, no building. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If we kind of transitioned more to the later half of that day being the start of it, the problem is you have to pay the camera crew, you have to pay for the rental of the cameras, stuff like that full extra day. And already each episode was running a crazy amount of money, and we were over budget every episode somehow, because you guys know exactly how much you were given for your machines, and somehow we managed being that over budget. So, but I completely agree. Adding that extra time, just.
I'm also glad, and I wish they had a bit more, was the amount of time that was wasted looking through that big red metal toolbox.
Oh God, yeah.
That's kind of on you guys. We gave you that time. You could have sorted through the toolbox. You could have looked through it. We thought about labels, but we actually had labels for the thing. We just didn't put it on because we just figured the drawers were going to get all screwed up by the second episode anyway. And
that red drawer thing, it had a diagram on it. I only found it on day 2 of the second round. It had a little diagram on the edge of each shelf that showed exactly what was in it. And there's me grumping on this episode going, I can never find anything in these drawers.
I kept asking my resident engineer.
Diagram on the side of it, I didn't see it.
Well, I'm slightly disappointed that they didn't show the benches and the worktop at the end of each day, because we started in the morning on day 1, everything was organised. Day 2, it looked like someone had thrown a fucking hand grenade onto there. It was just everywhere.
And do you know, I'd turn around, I'd be using, when I was doing those shelving unit things, I was like, I need a drill and I need a screwdriver and a power driver, right? So I'm like, right, okay, right, I've got them here. I can bang away at this. All of a sudden, I look down. It's like, what the fucking hell's the
Because
screwdriver?
me and Justin
And
snuck over.
then I look down and like, mate, the drill's gone. And I go, lads, have you seen that? And you're sat around and they're all there. And I don't know how that.
That's why we gave you 4 drills plus the hand one.
Yeah, exactly. And they had them all at one point.
Guess
we
what?
did.
You were one of the cleaner teams. In my notebook, because I'm taking real notes, I'm making note of how much effort it's going to take to clean it, and then also, do I select the winner based on how much I have to clean up their workshop after this? You're going to take me 5 hours? Fuck you. You're not getting to the next episode. There's one team. I would say I think you guys were the 3rd cleanest team. Shocking.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
There's one team that it took me, obviously, the 5th day where, we're recording all the bits. I was going from, I think, 8 till about 3 o'clock redoing it. Because, again, for everyone that doesn't know, I set up the entire workshop. Not a single other person on the crew would touch it because I needed to make sure that there was the exact same amount of pulleys, string, fly swatters for every single team for the episodes so that it would be fair. And fuck you guys fuck those guys for making it so dirty and just...
But also, what people won't know as well is that when we got to the Friday and they were filming the machine in detail, as soon as they finished all the detail in room 1, Zach's in there just ripping it all out.
Yeah, immediately.
So you're watching all our hard work just get put in a big pile in the middle of the set, pull the carpet out, and everything. We're like, oh, look at all that's gone.
Cathartic, though.
Okay, so
we did
recycle.
recycle.
Going back to the chat section, there's the wife's there. Say hello, wife. Say hello, Emma.
Hey,
Emma. There she is. The wife's in there. She says she's so proud. Inbox is full of praise for the show, and says it was an epic show. And we've also got Tina, who's been a guest on the podcast a couple of times.
Hey, Tina.
With Max, her service dog or assistance dog, and she's watching from the States as well. So, Zach, is it available to people who might not have seen it? Is it available in other countries?
At the moment, only if you have a VPN. So I've been able to do it through that. It's having more difficulty than what they originally promised. That being said, it's getting released on Discovery Plus June, July is currently. So after the program fully airs in the UK, then it's going to be able to start streaming on Discovery Plus, and that'll go worldwide.
That's worldwide, is it, Discovery Plus?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
It might not have user rights here if Channel 4 have theirs here.
Yeah, that's true.
Else.
But again, if you got a VPN, you can just,
like, I live in Ireland, mate. You don't need to tell me that.
Where am I at? Let's see. My phone currently thinks I'm in Docklands.
Okay.
Docklands in London. Hey,
Docklands in London, yeah, down the O2.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's how I get to watch the show.
So I wanted to sort of chat briefly about the first episode because when it went out, we were all on WhatsApp with each other, sort of commenting on stuff like that. I thought the first episode was pretty good, but I genuinely think ours was a much better episode. I'm just saying that right now. Bit of bias.
I think it's finding its groove because that was the second episode that we filmed.
Yeah.
And we're just we're finding our things. Me and Richard having our chats. Just not being the same question over and over to me. To just like, is it going to work? Having the teams be just more knowledgeable and having better machines through it, and especially when it gets to the semifinals, it kicks it up to just a complete new level of awesomeness. It's only going to get better. There's one episode coming up that is our very first episode we filmed, so I'm kind of wondering how that's going to translate. They were really good teams, but we were also very new with our filming process, and we'd pretty much gotten it down by the time we got to you guys. So
is that next? Is the next one the first one you filmed?
I'm not going to say exactly. That way we leave the viewers.
It's going to be obvious.
It's going to be completely out. You're going to know because you were on it. Basically, when you look at the, you're going to see a room that doesn't look completely tricked out. Look at the next episode versus the fourth episode, and you're like, all right.
Yeah, so they showed the preview. So it's the Aviators against
Aviators versus Wildcards next time. So
Right,
Aviators is a group of pilots who all have some sort of disability versus Wildcards, who are 2 Americans and 1 semi-American, as he wanted to be called. Semi-American. He's British, but he wanted to be.
Well, if he's British, he's a semi-American, not a semi-American.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. To be fair, so I'm guessing we've got another 2 or 3 episodes before we're on again next, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't know which. I truly don't know if you're going to be now episode 5 or 6.
Yeah.
They're still in the process of doing the tweaks on the semifinal ones. So I've only seen up to episode 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
But I can try. Yeah, if I find out, I can give you a heads up.
Yeah, please
I can
do.
literally
Please
just,
do.
you know, the easiest thing to do is ask Richard. It's just like I'll just send him a message. Hey, where are you at with the voice recordings? And so,
Yeah.
which, by the way, just side note, I did ask him about appearing on your podcast, by the way, and he's incredibly busy. He's going to get back to me on a time. He would need to talk with his agent on a timing, even for that, which I'm like, they just want maybe like 5 minutes of your time.
Anything.
Yeah,
Anything would do.
But, but yeah, we both the episode we've been texting back and forth during it, and his reactions are funny.
Yeah, we'll get on for 5 minutes, and we'll drag it out to an hour. We're dead good at that.
Well,
I think that's what he's worried.
apparently, the wife's just said that apparently the show was pick of the day in the Daily Mail today.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Hey, they must have seen us coming. They must have had a preview and
Oh,
known it was the 3 of us.
Also, I noticed as well, because Mike, you were featured in your sort of local paper, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you cut out of that photo as well?
And him.
So the cat's out.
We'll come back to that in a sec, Zach.
Yeah.
But I was featured on Donegal Daily on the website Donegal Daily. If you want to go Google Donegal Daily, then the story's up there. But yes, it's my sister-in-law's friend works for Donegal Daily, and she had a quick chat, and apparently they were having a quick chat and said, "Oh, well, you want to? My brother-in-law's doing this and that." So they rang me at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm just sat having a cup of tea. I just have a little bit of a chat, like and then put the phone down. Next thing I know, and she texts me. I said, "Do you know when it'll be on?" She went, "Oh, I don't know." And she texted me about 2 hours later, said, "It'll be on at 8:00 tonight." I was like, up on the internet. But here we go. I can tell you this now because people know that we get through to the second round. And she said, "What did you have to do?" I said, "Well, we had to build a machine that," and I won't tell you what it did. I told her what happened in the second episode.
Oh, come on.
I was like, oh my God. So I had a hot flush coming back from the gym going, oh shit, I've just given away that we're like, and then, oh my God. And I contacted her and I couldn't get through. And then it went live with the right details because she'd gone on to the Channel 4 listings.
Oh, wow.
And seen what the actual thing was and corrected my error.
So I've also heard.
Story.
You are not
There
cut
it
out.
is.
Yeah, look at
Like
that.
any dad. I might have to change my username now. There you go. Donegal Daily. There we go.
Cut out. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I've also heard
There's the
that.
mugshot.
Oh, look at him. I've also heard that the Sun are going to resurrect their page 3 after seeing Joshua reclining for doing that sort of pushover for the.
That
I got my
beautiful.
porn star pose in the show. I knew I would.
beautiful.
And I even said to them, I said, "Am I going to be in the cut?" And they said, "Probably not." And I said, "Well, I'm going to lie down then." And they went, "Okay." So I got away with it.
Everything.
I knew it was good. I was like, "Yeah, they're not going to miss a chance to let me do my most seductive lie down."
But I think they had the so when Alex had the Steadicam,
Yeah.
obviously that rig.
Yeah.
Even when it was kind of sitting there stationary, occasionally they would just leave that rolling and just see what happened as things were going.
Sly bastards.
I don't know if that was Graham's doing, but I remember I walked past one of the monitors and I saw it recording, and I made a
He's
face.
cheeky guy.
Well, yeah. So I don't know if you found the GoPros in the workshop.
I
did, yeah.
Yeah, I
You didn't find
have no idea.
I didn't find them. I didn't know they were there. And the thing was that what people don't understand is that there was a little kind of Big Brother-esque element to it in that we're walking around. We've got a microphone. We've got a tiny little microphone in here under the top of the shirt, and that's on you for 12 hours. I mean, it's and every so often, and look, we've said this before that all the crew, literally every single person on the crew was phenomenal. They were golden, really, really cool people.
So good.
And we became not really good friends, but you were able to have banter with people really because you're spending so much time and it was quite intense. You were able to have banter with each other. So I remember there's this for the benefit of people who clearly didn't see the sound man. Massive Welsh guy, big old beard called Geraint.
Oh, what a legend!
I was like, it got to the point where I think it was in the second show where I was just winding him up because I knew that he could hear everything I could say. And he's got the boom mic and he's doing something over the other side of the room. I'll be like, Geraint, you're a knob. And he'd just be like, because obviously he could hear it over the other side. And it was just like, I was doing it all the time. And I was like trying to make him laugh as he's holding the big boom mic from the other side. And there was one where we were filming a bit of us walking in. And obviously we were like 100 yards away from everyone. So nobody could hear apart from Geraint. And I was like, Geraint, can you hear us from over there? And he was going like that 100 yards away. And then I can't even say on the podcast, even though we've clicked the button that says it's explicit, I can't even say what I said after that, which left me in quite a lot of hysterics. So there you go.
That was, I think it was after you. Well, Richard and I had done it, but that became our pastime. Like, we were waiting for the cameras to get set up for the masterclass, especially whenever it was either that or judging. Most of the time, it was just seeing who could we make laugh first. Geraint, or I can never get his goddamn name right. Geraint?
Geraint.
Getting him or the other soundman, Ollie, seeing which one we could make laugh first, because it was at that time that they had tuned into both of us, and we were just whispering things and just like, all right, whoever pops up first has to buy the first pint tonight. And
but here's the other thing: is what a lot of people won't know is that there were 2 dedicated teams of cameramen and sound people for each of the teams, and quite often we wouldn't even know who the other guys were. There'd be, they'd all, we get there in the morning, there'd be other people in there, and we would like, oh, who are they? Because genuinely, you didn't have time to look across the other side and see who was working on that set.
Yeah,
and here's a bit of a excuse me. Here's a bit of a behind the scenes thing as well. Is that when you see us answering a question to camera, quite often that's been asked by Geraint, the sound man, just because he's nosy.
Oh, who's it?
Oh yeah, he was being full on producer. It was like they started doing like, fuck it, let him. That's fantastic.
He was brilliant. He was
actually very good. Yeah, very
what you're doing there and things like that. And he would be like, he'd ask us questions, and some of the stuff that was the answers to his questions made it through to the final show. So you mentioned
the crew being phenomenal, and it truly was, because almost everyone who signed up for the project knew about Chain Reactions in some capacity, had always had some sort of love or passion behind it. And, it really translated because everyone wanted to be there. There wasn't really anybody that just like, we're here because we're getting a paycheck. Nat Bolin, our DP, he had one of my machines saved on his computer. He had the Honda Cog. He had it as his background of his computer. And the second he got the call about it, he's like, yes, I'll do it. I don't care. Just get me on this program. And after talking with the crew for so long, that was the case along so many people, because one, there's never been a Chain Reaction show ever really like this. But yeah, they were all really good people. And I feel like I was going to say more to that, and I did one of those Michael Scotts. My brain is just.
I have this really horrible feeling as well that, like, as hopefully it gets commissioned and it goes on for more series, I feel it's going to end up being like X Factor, where in 20 years' time there'll be some kid saying, "Yeah, I grew up watching those 3 social media idiots do it. I thought I could do better than that," and they'll come out with the most amazing machine.
I actually think you will. If you have a series 2, actually, assuming you do have a series 2, I think you'll get a whole bunch of people who go, "Why didn't we do this?" Because they wouldn't have necessarily known about it. Because there is a whole bunch of people like that. And as we found out when we were kind of finding them on TikTok and finding other people, we weren't necessarily the first port of call. There are other people that do that automatically.
Do you know? Sorry, go on.
We had a good casting pool, so we were able to, we weren't desperate by any means, but for a show this size, for this, they mentioned a list of X amount of people, and we were far below that. I still had a lot of ones that came through to me for me to actually judge them and say, yeah, I think this team's going to be good, or I'm worried about this guy, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, just once people go out and if they see the show, they're going to apply to it, and we're just going to have a great crop. And it just means that the machines that show up on further seasons have to be at like semifinal level from the get-go.
Yeah, sure.
So it puts pressure on future teams, and like I said, your machine for for this episode really kind of sets a good standard for the other machines going forward. Truly, I mean that.
I think that's something that now, if it does go to a second season, then people have seen what it is, and they've got an advantage, and they see how the show works. They can get ideas and things like that. Whereas, I mean, the three of us, I personally didn't even know. I'd never even heard the phrase Rube Goldberg before. So that was one of those things. It was just that we're going from like a standing start, and look, I like I say, putting bodging things together is not a problem to me. I've been doing it all my life, fixing stuff with whatever I've got lying around. So that was kind of the skills I brought to it. But in terms of just designing the whole thing and thinking of if we were to do the whole thing again, we'd be a step above, just like everyone who's watching it would be a step above.
That boot camp lecture series, I'm going to completely change that if we do season 2. And for everybody watching, we don't have confirmation of season 2. I personally packed everything into 3 semi-trucks, and we stored it away into storage.
Yeah.
That's a big investment for the production company, so that's kind of a really good sign. But even me as co-host of this thing, I still don't know if we're going on to season 2. So please share it around with anybody you can and really just promote the hell out of it. IMDb, even if you give it a great rating on there, the commissioners, they look at it. And I get our first report of ratings sometime this week. One of the execs is going to send.
So there you go, everybody. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, whether you're watching it live now or you're listening to it when it goes out as an audio podcast, look, you basically heard a big American guy begging you to go on IMDb and give it a good rating. So, hey, come on. You don't want to make this big guy cry, do you?
Please. I'll say this in the next episode, I do shed a minor tear.
Oh, nice.
Well,
very minor tear of my own fault, but
there you go. That's a good thing to look forward to.
Can I just? I've got one. I got a message tonight, and it kind of epitomised how good fun the show was. I've got a really good friend who sent me a message saying, "I've just watched the show, really cheered my mum up." But she basically said it's a bit sad that my dad died on his 99th birthday this week, and you've really cheered us up. So I think our episode was means a lot to somebody as well, which is great. So yeah.
Oh mate,
yeah,
that's made me feel all warm inside.
Well, yeah, I think it's good TV, it's good family fun, and it's entertaining as well. So I think it's just brilliant.
I'll pass that note along seriously to the. We still, even after all these months, have a group chat with most of the blokes who filmed it and produced it.
Yeah.
Last week when I wasn't in my mom's apartment, I actually had my daughter on my lap while we were watching the first show, and every time I'd come up, she'd look at the screen and she'd go, "Dada."
Yeah.
Dada. Dada, and then she just give me a kiss on the cheek, and she was just like so enthused, and that literally made the world. And I sent that to Richard, I sent it to the crew, and they were just like, oh, that meant so much to them. So I'll share that same story, or the story you just said.
Yeah.
Well, we love hearing
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We've got a few more comments. We've got Happiness is asking the question, Zach, if there is a season 2, do you think about adding anything to the show?
Yeah, sure. So different rooms for certain. We came up with like the landing, that middle room, as kind of like the transition, so they didn't really have to make it look like you're going from floor to floor. That's one thing I want to scrap and redo it with different rooms. So maybe there's a greenhouse, maybe there's a gym, maybe there's a nursery, things like that. If anybody has suggestions of rooms they want to see, feel free to throw them out there. Updating the rules. One thing that's been updated in just the narration alone is allowing only 3 interventions. That's not something that we never. Yeah, that's not something I never specified. You guys, I'm sure, never heard that. But That's certainly for one. And then also time limits.
Didn't need it, mate.
What's that? Yeah.
We didn't need it.
Yeah. There's been some teams that have. And the other one is time limits. So if a machine or a step runs for over a certain amount of time, that's a forced intervention. Because in some of the episodes, one of them in particular, there's water that drips. And that actually took 2.5 minutes for that to go. And you know how that is with the Steadicam. You're just sitting there waiting, and he's got to prep the next move. So that made it a real pain for us. So beyond that, you know, in terms of like upping the scale, the set's probably going to be about the same size because you recognize how hard it is to get across that amount of that distance. If we did do anything bigger, I see the comment like with car doors, bonnets, stuff like that. You know, we're talking about maybe a special there, or
yes,
you know, if a team requests those items, those wouldn't be just naturally stocked in the workshop.
Just in case you're looking for people for that special. For
yeah, right.
Seeing as you definitely said to us when it first started that this was of a massive scale. This was like,
we had scaffold towers and cars.
Oh, we've got so many ideas already that we had to scrap when we put it into a much smaller space.
This is what I was telling you. You had like 5 days to build this, and we were like 30 meters. And then, I mean, okay, you saw how massive our set was, and that was 15 meters each side. Could you imagine anything bigger, just trying to run around, anything like that? It was just...
Not if you're doing everyday objects. Yeah, it is about that scale of kind of scrap heap or giant rather than that. So I think that is almost the... But wouldn't it be interesting to have a kind of a kind of thing where maybe the first bit of the show is the little bits, and then the semi-finals is something absolutely massive, and then the final maybe there's like two. One is a tiny square where you've got your record, and then maybe bigger spaces. I like the kind of difference between them, whereas I felt like we were in the middle.
Well, and also sort of Zach, as part of the learning how to do this, you would give us homework, and obviously me and Joshua would turn up and go, "Oh, I've been so busy this week. I didn't have time to do anything." So we're sketching stuff whilst we're talking to you on Zoom. But the other one, you sent us a reference of your fire and ice, so we thought, "Oh, it's going to be enormous." We had trebuchets, we had all sorts of fucking things going on with our machine as Wednesdays, didn't we?
Yeah. We'll have a lot better references for the next season. But
well, at least it was interesting to be part of that setup, you know. I mean, in the future, at least we can say, "Oh, in our day, we didn't have all this prep stuff."
Right? Like if you see a full-blown car in the workshop next time, just like one, you can tell that we got a way bigger budget, and two, shit's about to get real.
We'd like to rip up a Lamborghini, please, and do it inside the Lamborghini.
Your competitors, the Team Civilized, had requested that they bring in. It was either a 3D printer or it was a plasma cutting table. Wow. That was one of the things they originally wanted to incorporate.
Wow. 3D printer. Well, there's 18 hours that you couldn't have filmed. Anyway.
There's a few interventions.
Just building something on a 3D printer. And when it gets to the top, it trips something.
It was one of those things because, you guys knew you had to send me your shopping list. And I would sit there and go through everybody's item one by one and go, yes, no, yes, no. That was one of the ones I got to know.
Yeah, that's us asking for pool balls.
Which are already there, yeah.
I'm sure I told you guys this at the time. I'm sure people enjoy this. When we were just starting off, we didn't know what our time slot was. We didn't know if this was going to be more adult themed, more kid friendly, more anything like that. And one of the teams had come up with one of those. Yeah, you guys know it. It's one of those suction cup dildos that have a motor in it. And so that literally, as it falls, it would then stick, and then it would start flopping around, and then eventually hit the next step. And I sat there for a minute and really considered it, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna pitch this to our commissioner." And they were like, "No, you're pre-watershed, but that's fucking funny."
And also, I think it's worth noting that when you first gave us like tasks to do to come up with a machine, our first machine started with a toilet. So
that's not an accident.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
So because of it, obviously you guys were designing the machines while we were still figuring out this little bit, everything like that. But those are the sort of things where if I knew a team had already had a good design that would fit in a certain episode. Like from the get-go, when I had the idea for this task, I had already fit you guys through it, and then you came up with the idea, and I was like, that was just a nail in the coffin of you guys are on this episode. So.
Right.
And honestly, I think it was in the bathroom at one point, and then I was able to convince them, because the original idea was open the door and accept a parcel whilst being on the toilet, because that'd just be funny across the house.
Oh, of course it was, yeah.
That's when we just we nixed the idea of having doors or going to the outdoors. Anything kind of like that. So that's why it became Turn on the Kettle.
Which I loved. I loved Turn on the Kettle. That was a good one. The next one's even better, though. The next one's better. The next task is even better, I think.
Yes.
Absolutely. Look, I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to watching next week as well, because I enjoyed watching the first week. Clearly enjoyed this week more because it had us on it.
Yeah.
But apart from that, anyway, we've run out of time, and the reason we've run out of time is because I've got to get to bed because I'm going to London tomorrow. I've got to get up early and get on a bus to go to London tomorrow. So, anyway, thanks, Zach. Look, Zach, thank you so much for joining us again. So, ladies and gentlemen, even if you're watching live in front of your own laptop, give Mr. Zach Umperovich a little round of applause for being here. Thank you very much, Zach. Thanks, Josh.
Round of applause to you guys.
Look, we'll do this. We'll do this again. Oh, Rosie said, "Happy birthday for tomorrow, Joshua."
Thank you very much. You're seeing a man in his 20s for the last time. I've chosen my last.
Follow us on social media. I'm sure you'll see a lot. If you follow us on social media, I'm sure you'll see a lot about Joshua's party tomorrow. So.
Never know.
I'm sure Instagram stories will cover it.
I'm doing a 4-hour live at your party.
So, guys, thanks again, Zach. Thanks, Joshua. Thanks, Baz.
Thank you, guys.
I'll see you two boys tomorrow in London town.
Yay.
Thanks, everyone, for being on. See you again. Bye-bye.